Hey, gang, welcome to my life where anything is possible and nothing is as it seems. I'm Freedom and I'll be your host, coming at you from within the depths of dystopia. Welcome to my life as a project, an experiment in life and art, a living storyboard, if you will. Its premise is that life is experiential and that you can and do experience the life you choose. It is based on the use of the wheel of life and the arts for the new millennium as life-building tools. Welcome to my life. I'd like to give a shout out to a plethora of people for their ongoing and oft times unknowing inspiration and support. It is Saturday, August 2nd, 2020 Jive. Time mellow. There's a mellow chill in the air. Lungadza. Hold on. Lugnazad. The day after that. Oh, so many things to say. Hold on. First, I want to talk about, and I meant to do this yesterday when I could show you, is where my brain was yesterday, because half of it wanted to be out on the road working, the other half knew that was not the case, because I'm telling you, I needed every ounce of me for that reading last night. That is an example of why it would be nice to have more frequent readings on a regular basis, because then the switch between normal life and that is not quite as drastic, because I'm in it more regularly. That is also the reason I have very often contemplated charging more for both that and the Reiki, because people don't understand how much time I have to give to readings both before and after. Well, and Reiki. There's time to switch over beforehand and there's time to bring myself back after. It is not just the hour you are sitting with me. And I realize those other time frames are not necessarily the client's worry or responsibility, but it's still something that it's part of the job, whether we like it or not. And before I make my next point about the reading, what I was going to say is, people argue and fight with me about my beliefs and practices all the time. One of the most popular debates people want to engage me in is the seasons of the year. I believe that everyone is about 6 weeks behind the natural cycle of the universe. And I've got two ways to get into that. One is my favorite and most obvious. We consider the beginning of summer, June 21st-ish, just for the sake of making points, June 21st, the solstice. Except the name of that day is midsummer. It was originally the middle of the summer season, which actually makes more sense because it is the peak of the sun's travels. It is literally in the middle of its journey on that day. To further the Wiccan/pagan/Celtic wheel of the year has 8 major holidays. Yesterday was one of them. Each one is where it is because it is representative of certain switches in the agricultural year. Yesterday marked the end of the tending time and the beginning of the harvest time. It marked the end of summer and the beginning of fall. And people will argue me, and I do. It would have been nice if I'd have gotten my stuff together and just made the shoot real quick yesterday. You can argue me, but if you lived in the valley yesterday, August 1st, 2025, you may recall that it was like a cloudy, cool and comfortable, non-humid, like 72 to 75 all day long. It was the perfect autumn-esque day yesterday. You could see it. We're 6 weeks behind. I think that's part of the reason the world's so messed up. It's not on the right schedule. And so also people arguing me and debating me and fighting me. I look at things like last night's reading. I have in my life had many Christians, 2 in particular up until about a year ago, who like to argue me and tell me I'm wrong and that everything I do, believe, and practice is against God and the work of the devil. Well, you already know how I feel about the devil. And I know what the Bible says about certain things, but I also know other things the Bible says. But anyway, outside of all that debate, you look at last night, the intensity of what it was, the healing and release that happened in that room. I should sage that room. I should have saged it last night. I'm not used to things being that intense. And that alone, the intensity of it, the deep, how can that not be God? And one of my arguments has always been, well, if what I do is the work of the devil does some awfully good work. Like last night. If what I do is the work of the devil, then last night the devil healed somebody, or at least facilitated the beginning of that process. The great enemy. But then for me, like, I have to look deeper at it, because the surface just is never enough, even if it makes my point. I have to look at how it went down and the challenges it presented me, like the fact that it threw me off and I wasn't. Don't anyone get upset. I wasn't originally accepting. I agreed, but I don't like being thrown off like that.